Hey guys, it's Alicia, crazy fly lady. So I've been thinking a lot, and I have several friends who are asking me questions about getting started in fly fishing. How do I get started? What do we need to get? Do I need to spend a ton of money? That kind of thing with fly fishing. So let's talk about that for a minute. Fly fishing can be super duper expensive and like ridiculous, um, but also totally worth it. Or you can do it on a budget and still catch fish and still have a ton of fun, just as much fun as if you broke the bank to do it. Now, there are, of course, probably some limitations with when we start getting into like gear and stuff like that, but overall, you can do it. So, for instance, there's absolutely nothing. Well, let's talk about your rod and reel situation. So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to Bass Pro Shop or whatever kind of place. I highly recommend your local fly shop if you have one. Definitely, we want to support those guys. That is a very important industry. And fly shops are quickly being overtaken by a lot of these large sports stores. So, not that I've never shopped at any of those, but as much as possible, try to support your local fly shop. But what if you don't have one? You might not have one near you, or maybe they don't have anything that you can afford, and that's perfectly fine. So, you get a fly rod. Even Walmart, at least the Walmarts here, have fly rods, but certainly Walmart.com or Amazon.com. Again, go to your fly shop first as far as I'm concerned. But those places, you can get an inexpensive rod that's going to work. Now, think about what's your goal? What are you trying to catch? Are you catching mainly trout? What size trout do you think you'll mainly be catching? Now, obviously, I don't expect you to be a psychic, but like, if you're if you're like me and you don't care what size the fish are that you catch, you just want to catch fish, then you can probably get away with a lighter weight rod. Rods are distinguished in weight, so like your average is going to be between like a 3 and a 5, with 4 and 5 probably being your most average for a trout rod. My kind of go-to rod that I have is actually a Redington Path. It's a 9-foot 5 weight. It's actually a little bit big for some of the trout that I catch. Most of the trout I catch, I could probably do. I have a 4-weight rod also, and I could probably do just fine with that. But I like that particular one. That was my first fly rod, and I really enjoy it. So I use it probably most. And one of the main reasons that I use it the most is because it fits in my car, and I don't have to take it down every single time and take it apart every single time and put it in the case. So for me, that's a huge thing because I fish almost every day. If I can, which is most days, I make time for fishing, and it fits in my car, so I don't have to take it down every single time, which is so much better than like my 10 or 11 foot, whatever it is, 4-weight, which is an Orvis Clearwater. Awesome for Euro nymphing. I love it. It's a great rod, but I have to take it down every single time, so it's harder for me to just leave in my car all the time. Not that I can't do it. It's easier with my other one. So think about that stuff. The other thing is a reel. You don't have to get a crazy expensive reel. You can just get a rod reel combo, wherever you're buying it from might have, and there's no need to get something crazy expensive, especially since if you're going to be mainly catching like trout or panfish, something like that, then there's no need for expensive stuff, or crazy reels, because you're not going to be using it. Most of your fish that you're catching, you're going to be hand stripping in, and you're never going to actually use the reel. So there's no reason to get an expensive one. But you'd want a fairly decent one, but you don't need an expensive one at all. If you're going to spend money on anything, spend money on a good quality fly line. That's going to be the thing that's going to save you a lot. So you can get away with a budget reel, a budget rod, and as long as you get a really good quality fly line, it doesn't have to be super duper ridiculous expensive, but just like a nice Scientific Anglers one is a good middle of the road thing. I just might not get the Walmart special. That's going to be great for you because it's going to cast nicely, and you're going to get a lot more life out of it, especially if you clean it. Make sure you're cleaning your fly line as well, especially if you're like me and you're fishing almost every day, or if you're like in some scummy water like a pond. Maybe you're doing some bass fishing this summer or something. So definitely fly line. If you're going to spend money on anything, get some good fly line. And then as far as your leaders and stuff goes, that can get expensive. I got sick of buying leaders, especially for my fiance, who is just learning to fly fish, and he is constantly breaking off the leaders and breaking off flies, so he's going through leaders. So I started getting the furled leaders from Appalachian Furled Leader Company, and I love them. And all I have to do is tie on the tippet, or you just make your own if you want a tapered leader, which the furled leaders are tapered, but if you want a tapered leader, you can just make your own. There's plenty of information out there of how to make leaders, and as long as you know like a triple surgeon's knot, then you're good to go with that, and we'll probably talk about that sometime. But as far as getting started in fly fishing, it does not have to be expensive. You don't need a ton of stuff. You just need, we talked about rod, reel, and line. And then as far as flies go, just get some things that you can get started with. There's cool little packs. Most fly shops that I've been to have like a little starter pack. There's plenty of ways to get some flies, especially at fly shops. They'll tell you like what's been doing well on wherever you're going. But if you're not near a fly shop and you need to just find some things, again, think about what are you catching. If you're catching trout, you should have some topwater and like some dry flies, and you should have some nymphs. I prefer to fish a dry dropper rig, so that's a great way to go there. You can get kind of a little bit of everything, or a double nymph rig. If you're going for bass, you want some poppers, you want some topwater stuff, and you want some streamers. So you're going to want like a woolly bugger. The chartreuse woolly buggers I have great luck with bass. If it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. So definitely get some woolly buggers, even for trout, like an olive color, or I call it like the fall colors, the ones that have like brown and tan, and maybe even a little orange. Those are good. So just get a few flies. I might even, if you're just starting out, get some inexpensive ones, because you're probably going to break them off and lose them. And you can find plenty of those in various places. Like Field and Stream, Sportsman's Warehouse, things like that. You can get those if you've got one of those near you. Once again, I highly recommend you check out your local fly shop first. And if you go to, there's plenty of really good ones. Almost all of them have a website. I highly recommend, I used to live in Columbus, Ohio. I highly recommend Mad River Outfitters. They have amazing information, amazing YouTube channel, so check out Mad River Outfitters, and their website. You can get anything and everything. Call them. You speak to a real person. They're awesome. They set me up with all of the stuff that I have so far, all the different rods and reels that I have. They completely set me up. So check out Mad River Outfitters or madriveroutfitters.com. They're awesome people. So that's a little bit about your basic gear. Hopefully some of this helped. We're definitely going to be getting into some more of this beginner kind of stuff as the days kind of go on. I have a lot of friends that are getting interested in fly fishing, mainly because I'm completely obsessed with it, and they're wanting to get their own setups, and so we're going through this a lot with the people I know. So I hope that helped someone. If you have other thoughts or questions, let me know. And thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. All those things. Thank you. Bye.